Right, good evening, everybody. It's the official topic talk. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell. We've got a special guest on tonight, and his name's Tony Meehan from Team Meehan BKB. Welcome, Tony, and thank you ever so much for letting me have some of your valuable time.
It's a pleasure, mate, and it's an honour to be a very first one. So,
thanks, Tony. I'm a bit nervous, but at the same time, I see that you're a very, very good characterized person, and I'm intrigued with your fighting career so far.
Yeah.
And I've watched many of your videos, especially from the pit, and it was that what I was wanting to base it around tonight.
Yeah.
How did you first decide to get into the pit fighting?
Well, I was just watching a video on my phone of one of my old pals. Someone had made a promotion, which is now Spartan Wars. They made a promotion and they just put four cones on a field, put some barrier tape around it, and then they just started organising fights. You know what I mean? Like you're fighting. Anyway, I was just watching it on my phone, thinking I want to do that. It looks good. But then by the time I put my name down and got into it, they upgraded the promotion and they ended up having some A-bales instead of the cones. And then they had a circus tent, you know what I mean, like as a venue. So it was quite upgraded. It was Spartan Wars 3 with my very first one in the bales, and that was the time they ever had. But yeah, just watching my friend on phone. I just thought that, and I just put my name down, and that's it. Just ended up.
Didn't you feel nervous? Didn't you make you feel nervous like your first?
Yeah, I did, but I knew it would happen anyway. It's something you got to overcome, isn't it? But obviously, there was something more in me that wanted me to do it more than to overcome the nerves. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it must take heart enough in to make you a fighter. Some people, once they get hit a few times and it's a bit sore, they decide to give up, don't they? And that's not what I would call a fighter. Would you agree with me that you have to have the heart?
110%. I mean, I can't say much about anybody. I mean, I'm not the most technical. Like, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of better fighters out there than me. But yes, that is a key point. I mean, that's the only thing I've got. But yeah, if I didn't have that, I would definitely wouldn't be fighting. If I had technical and everything and I didn't have heart, I would not be fighting now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you say, it's all right not to have technique. You can learn it, but you can't learn hard. You can't train hard.
I mean, I've watched quite a few of your videos, and to be honest with you, it's brutal and it's vicious.
Yeah.
And what I mean, that's a strange way for somebody to want to go straight in at the deep end. What's your thoughts on that? Like, as going in at the deep end, so early.
I think that's what made it more like made me want to do it more. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's because it was like more dangerous. It was like not many people were doing it, so I just thought I don't know. I just wanted to try it, and as soon as I put my name down, I just committed from there, and I've never stopped from then. It was like 2000. It was February 2019 when I first put it on. First put my name down, and then I ended up fighting from February. 3 months later, in May 25th, my first ever fight. So,
I mean, like I said, I've watched many of your fights. Just to overlook some research, and like I said, they're vicious bouts.
Yeah.
From what I noticed, there's only one kind of loss that I can see. So your self-training technique, what you do to train yourself, it's working.
Yeah. I mean, I have progressed. I mean, I've put a video on my channel somewhere on my videos where of my first step when I told you I put my name down 2019 and I've got a video of first ever buying a bag, 30 kilogram bag from Argos, just hung it in me, and I've got a video of my first ever hitting bag compared to now. It's hitting the bag, and honestly, it's a big difference to say I've only trained myself. So obviously, it's technical, but it should. So.
I mean, some people say you've got to get some sparring in there, but just imagine if you're sparring someone. I mean, a lot of people start spar with someone a lot heavier, a lot better than them.
Yeah.
Now, my thought on that is, if you get a clump in a sparring session and it breaks, you break your knuckle, or say they hurt you in some way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
then that's your fight over with. So I
Yeah. Well,
think the way that you're going now is the correct way forward. You know, you're self-training. You've
yeah.
only had one loss in numerous fights.
Yeah.
It's working for you. So, but if you were to get a trainer, how would that like make you adapt to it? Would you
Well,
be good to change?
well, like you were saying then about that's why I never really got trained, because I kept winning from my first fight. I trained myself, and I won second, and I didn't want to change anything, because you know what I mean. Because I'd like
Yeah.
win, and obviously, so when I did get to finally losing the pit, I did actually somebody along with me, a guy who used to box, showed me a few things. You know what I mean? I had him with me a few weeks, but then I've still got to just learn that from him, and I'm still continuing doing it myself. So yeah, I'm still training myself. I don't do any sparring either. I know I should do, and I'm gonna do a little bit. But yeah, that's another thing I don't ever do with sparring.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, you can be prone to an injury just before about. Can you really remember like your very first pit fight or your second pit fight? Is there any like stories you can like give me you know, on how it went or how you feel like towards it now, looking back?
Right, well, I can remember them all. My first one, like when I told you I was watching a video and it made me interested in watching Spartan. It's a lad called Kurt Dunstan. He's a very good boxer around here. Do you know what I mean? He's very fast kid. He fought on the Spartan wall in the cones. What I was saying when I was watching a video. So he was like he'd won his first fight. Then he won Spartan Wars 2, and then I ended up fighting him on Spartan Wars 3. He was like 2 wins, and then he was going for a world title. Then I ended up originally going down for a title eliminator against another lad. So running up to the fight, his opponent pulled out, and because I'm mates with him, the promoter said, "Do you want to fight him for title for belt?" And this is my first fight, bearing in mind. I said, "Yeah, go on then. Fuck it, I'm in there, so I'll fight anyone." Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I ended up fighting one of my mates, and all up to the fight, they were like, obviously odds were against me 110%. A non-fighter, no experience. Do you know what I mean? Can't even really throw a proper punch at the time and stuff. Against a very experienced boxer who won his last 2 pit fights. So yeah, I was just getting terrorized on Facebook, and they were like, "Oh, do you think you're gonna win, or are you just taking a chance and stuff like this?" It's banter. Do you know what I mean? Obviously,
Yeah,
banter.
yeah,
But yeah, and then he ended up quitting on second round, or end at first. He just didn't think I would be on him as much. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he just ended up quitting. But that was my very first one. And Paddy Doherty, he come to the show. He gave me my belt at end, and he give a few people their belts. So, yeah, it was good night, very good night for my first one.
brilliant. Yeah, because it's always good to remember like the roots, like where your first ever
Yeah,
like fight occurred and who it was against. I mean, but the wins I've seen of yours have been so obvious. Like, you know, it's a win.
yeah, yeah,
And like I say, and what you mentioned yourself, I mean, why change something that's working?
exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, I totally agree. I mean, but whereas some people can criticise and say, "Oh, you've got to do more sparring, you've got to get a trainer behind you." Well, I think you prove, you know, that you don't necessarily need that behind you.
Yeah,
You've proved that time and time again with all the wins that you've been producing.
yeah,
And it's only added someone into the mix that's going to change your style of fighting. Whereas if you know what's winning, stick at it. Don't change unless you need to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Um, go
I
on.
like a bit more high emotions now and a bit more experienced fighters. The more you fight, the more. Obviously, I know records are for DJs and that, but obviously my record is 5-3 now. So the fighters that work, the more fights I'm having, the more experienced fighters I'll be facing. So I do need to switch it up. I do need to do a bit more train myself. So I will be doing a bit of sparring. I will be, well, obviously beginning only the first 4 weeks, not the last 4 weeks. But yeah, I will be doing a bit extra because obviously, like I say, I'll be fighting a lot more better opponents as I go along. So I'm gonna need. So.
I mean that win at the 3D Fight Club 2, was it?
3.
3. Fucking
Yeah.
that was a well convincing win, that one.
It was 2. Sorry, yeah, 2. It was 2.
Was it 2 or 3?
3's next one.
3's the next one. Yeah, that was a very convincing win. That was.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I didn't know nothing about my opponent. Obviously, before all up to fighting that, Dean was saying to me, "Oh, he's been training with Marines and that," and obviously, I was like, "Fucking hell," because you don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's worse when it's an opponent that you don't know nothing about. I think it's worse. You don't know nothing about them, and you don't know what to expect. So, and especially with coming off of them losses in the ring, I just had to go a bit all out a bit more. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to take my time and start going up through rounds. But knowing what I know now, if I didn't know his ability, obviously he shouldn't have been in there with me in first place. But like I say, who knows until you fight him? I can only fight who's in front of me. But yeah, if I knew, I'd have took it a bit lightly. But yeah, I wanted to get in there, and get out. So I did that.
I mean, what's your big difference that you find between the bare knuckle the bare knuckle BALE fights,
Yeah,
compared to like what you've done at 3D Fight Club? Do you think there's much of a difference? I mean, it's more vicious, I think.
It's a game altogether. It's not. It's like the pit fighting. It's not bare knuckle boxing. It's pit fighting. Do you know what I mean? It's not even boxing. It's pit fighting. It's fighting. It's like, and then you've got bare knuckle boxing in the ring. You've got miles more space. You've got plenty. You know what I mean? That's the big difference, really. Space. It's a lot slower game. I mean, you can make it a faster game, but it's more time taken and stuff like that. Whereas in the pit, it's just more rapid and raw and fast, and you've got no space to do anything. So it's more action, which is more entertaining as well in a way. And that's how I like it. I do like it. It is good.
You still do the pit fighting, or is that something that
I ain't done since? No, but never say never. Eh? I'm sure there'll be one day, but.
So you reckon in the near future then you might well get back in them pits?
Yeah, of course. Never say never say never. I'm still learning this space. You know what I mean? I'm still learning my range and everything. I'm still learning in ring and obviously octagon. So when I adapt to that and I become better in myself in that, then I'll probably go back to a pit and just dab about. You know what I mean? I want to do it in all fighting arenas eventually. Try them all out, innit?
Yeah, I think that's the winning one. I mean, there was a couple down at Wembley, weren't there?
Yeah.
I watched a couple of them, and some I was impressed with, some I wasn't. But that's basically the aim for yourself now, isn't it? To get right up on the major platforms.
Yeah,
You know, and
I'm only ever want to go when I'm ready. I'm not just gonna jump on and say, "Can I go on your show? Can I be on your show?" I know when I should be on a show, especially like with BKFC and stuff like that. I won't go on that anytime soon. I want to be properly ready for it. Do you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
not that it's anything special, but I'm just not chasing promotions and stuff like me. And I'm happy where I am and stuff. So whoever wants to give me a shot or an opponent, then by all means. But just keep active and keep ready.
So how many years have you actually been fighting then? From the starting of your pit till now?
Since 2019.
Is that all?
But
I thought it was a lot longer than that. Bloody hell.
But I lost a year and a half for COVID.
Fucking hell.
So there were nothing for a year and a half. So yeah, 2019.
Bloody hell, you have done really well. I was thinking it was a bit longer than that, but no, I'll take me out off to you every time. The other thing, do you do much research on your fighters, or do you just want to go in it like blind, or do you prefer to know your opponent?
I used to. I mean, it don't bother me. I don't go out of my way to. I don't really go out of my way to. No, I mean, I don't really like watching my opponents all the fights because you can't go off of it if you're not saying that. It don't really. I don't think it it helps if you look, like watch the previous fights. All fights are different, aren't they? So yeah, I would search the name up. You know what I mean? I'll check them out by all means, but I won't look into them and stuff like that and do my research and that. I'm not that bothered. I'm not that interested. I'll happily, like I did with that last opponent, I'll happily fight one blind. You know what I mean? Not know anything about him until I get there and stuff. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me.
I mean, you've done really well. You know, I'll say again, you know, your self-taught, you know, your self-style. And I think that's going to carry you a heck of a long way in your career here.
Yeah.
Any other stories that you could like tell us about your travels along the way?
Well, it's just been a crazy ride, really. I mean, I've been to most shows on my own. I mean, I don't really not that bothered about taking in crowds and stuff. But obviously, I've sold tickets and stuff. I don't really sell many tickets, but I've sold a few. A lot of promotions I've just turned up on my own. But yeah, it's just I like the fight. I like the fighters, my opponents who I fought, and then you end up becoming friends with them. Do you know what I mean? And closer and stuff. It's just like meeting a new person, isn't it? And you obviously more with that person because you've obviously shared blood and stuff. So yeah, I just like the who's next and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like you met all them who you fought, so who's next? So.
Have you ever idolised, obviously, from if there was a boxer anywhere out there in the world, which one would it be that you kind of look up to for like inspiration kind of thing? Is there any?
Not really. Like I say, I mean, I'm not really a fight fan. I don't really watch boxing. I don't really watch BKB unless it's a certain fighter. But like people that I know. But yeah, I don't really watch. Not really watch boxing. I'm not really much of a fight fan. But I like Canelo and Triple G and stuff like that. Little fast hitters and stuff. But yeah, I don't really look up to anyone like that. Not even in BKB. I mean, I used to look up. Well, I still do really, because obviously the champion in the Warriors, Tyler Goodjohn. Watching that now. Watching, I used to love watching him, and how he moves and that. Like he's a very unique fighter. Do you know what I mean? In himself, he's got his own style. He's in his own lane. Do you know what I'm saying? No one's like him. So yeah, that's one fight I do look up to. And then you've got Sean George, heart of a lion. Do you know what I'm saying? Fight anyone, just tear it up, win or lose or draw. Yeah, I do have a lot of fighters I do look up to and stuff, and that inspire me to keep me going and stuff like that. But I do try and stay in my own lane as well myself. Like I don't try and focus on anybody else or see what anybody else is doing. I just try and do my own thing, stay in my own lane.
I think that's the best way, isn't it? Really, be yourself and you know, create your own legacy.
Yeah. That's why I'm not that much interactive. Do you know what I'm saying? I just try and because I do good to be interactive and type comments. I think I know that don't need to be said. Do you know what I mean? And just I just stay in my own lane. Best way. Any
fighters that you look forward to fighting in the future, or any fighters out there that you really would like to match up against?
You know what? I've never really thought of that. No one asked me that, and I've never really. There's never been anyone that I'd want to fight or I'm excited to fight. But unless I've just like I say, I just take an opponent what come like I'm just waiting to see who's next every time. Whoever, I just focus on that person. So and then by the time that's over with, you're just waiting to see who's next again. It's like I don't really think above that. I don't have anyone in line or like that. So
who's your next opponent?
On 3D Fight Club, Stu Anderson. Very good fighter. I mean, he's only
Stu Armstrong.
Who?
Stu Armstrong was that?
Stuart Anderson.
Stuart Anderson.
Yeah.
What's he like? I haven't done much research to see, but
a very good fighter. To be fair, for 3D, he did a very good debut. I think he knocked his opponent out. But yeah, he's very good on bag and stuff like that. So I just fight who's in front of me. So I'm not or whatever. So
being on that 3D Fight Club, do you get to speak much to the other fighters?
Yeah, we're all in the fighters chat.
That's one. He's a good fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, in first place. I was a match with him first for 3v3, and then it got changed. So I don't know why, but then it ended up being Stu Anderson.
I think that might have been a good match, actually, you and the Swan. I think that's something that, maybe quite a few viewers out there would love to see.
Yeah, I thought the same myself when he said
I
it.
mean, you're both equal in. Well, no, you've got more experience over the Swan.
But that's what I mean. It's 3D Fight Club. There's not many that's got experience. If you know what I'm saying, they've all started on 3D. So unless you get other fighters coming in, there's not going to be many that's had many fights.
Were you a member of any other organisation for the BKB fighting?
Right, I started with Spartan Pit Fighting, Spartan was Fight Club. Then I went to BFBA, Boxing Association. And I went with. I had a fight for 3D Fight Club. So, but obviously I am contracted to BFBA, but then now BFBA is no more, so it's BKFC UK. So obviously all contracts I'm guessing will be scrapped anyway. So, like I say, I'm not chasing no one or like that. I'm just gonna sit and wait for people to come to me, and if it don't, then I have a big rest. You know what I mean? I just stay active, stay ready. But yeah.
Maybe that's when you can chuck a few more pit fights in, because the ones that I've watched of you, fucking hell, I've watched 3 of them over twice now, and it's vicious, man. And I'm a believer that you need heart in that game, and your heart is like 200% into that.
Yeah, you do, yeah. Yeah, if you haven't got that, you're not going to get very far, even with good skills. Like you say, one punch and people go down. You think, get up, why? You know what I mean? Why just go after one hit? It doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt. Especially when, obviously you won't know, but when you're in there, you're full of adrenaline. Nothing hurts, nothing. Apart from when you get tired, that's only bad feeling you'll get when your body's getting tired. But when you're getting punched and stuff, it don't hurt. It's just a thud, just like a thud. But yeah, it irritates me when people just drop to the floor easy. Well, each to their own thing, so fair play for them to getting in.
I'll say that also, it's fair play for the people to step into the ring. I mean, that is a big job in itself to get in there. But to get hit 2 or 3 times and then just flop, as you say, that's not heart. That's just someone maybe just out to, maybe get a few views or whatnot, what they called it.
Yeah.
Whereas your heart is in there like 200% from what. And the way I like to judge, BKB is different to pit fighting. Pit fighting, I think, is more vicious.
Yeah, of course. It's more raw, more faster, more cardio. It's more, just non-stop.
So I'll judge a person like from pit fighting compared to BKB. You've got nowhere to move back. You've got no space, have you?
Yeah.
And that's what made me look at your videos, and I thought, I'll tell you what, Tony's an interesting guy. I'd love to hear about them days from your storybook.
Yeah, there were days. I mean, it's like when I first started with Spartan, it's like it was starting itself. Do you know what I mean? Like I got in there very first BALE promotion because before I thought there used to be street cones. So yeah, I like grew with it, and then ended up helping promotion and been a part of it, and it just become my life basically, and I loved it, and I still do. So yeah, but we just going up to different promotions, different venues, seeing what's about, and just getting out there and enjoying it. Main thing.
I mean, I think at my age, I don't think I would have the heart to get into a ring. But I mean, I've got a white collar boxing bout coming up just for charity, 27th of November.
Yeah.
First time like with gloves boxing. Obviously, it's a lot different from fighting in the street. Any tips or tricks you could, chuck my way so I can prepare myself a bit better for it.
Well, yeah. You say you live in Telford, did you say?
Yeah, Telford.
Yeah. Well, my mate's got a gym there, Telford gym, boxing gym, and this is where each is a KB fighter. So I'll get you the address to go there, and I'll get him to help you, and you can go there and meet him. But yeah, the only advice I'd give you is just get a 1-to-1, get someone there to show you physically, do you know what I mean, and actually, do you know what I mean, while you're there on bag and stuff, and just enjoy it and keep at it and learn. Do you know
I
what
mean, I'm only doing it from fun. I mean,
Yeah, that's it.
majority of my mates in Telford, they're going to be paying £25 a ticket. That will all go to cancer research.
Yeah.
But they want to see me get my head punched in. So from a bad thing to a good thing that cancer research are going to gain off that, I think that's quite amusing.
Hey, if you win or the buying one, still buying a ticket, aren't they?
So, I mean, that's a new experience for me. I mean, I would have never thought about doing that a couple of years back, but it was one of my bucket list things to do. Just so I can get an experience of, what a fighter has to go through preparing himself wise, and actually like taking the bloody slaps in the ring, like.
Yeah.
I just hope I've got the heart that you've got inside you, mate, because I'll take me out of some of them fights are fucking vicious I've seen you have, especially the second and the third one in the bales.
Well, like you say, you never know until you try. I never knew I did until I got in there. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'd say to everyone, give it a try. Even whether you like it, whether you don't, whether you lose, whether you win, it don't matter. If you've got the heart to enjoy it and want to carry on, I think you should try it. Like I say, I never knew I had it until I tried. So yeah, definitely worth it. Never say never.
True. Stuck for things to ask you now, but I think this is where the nerves kicks in for the first live interview that I've ever done with anybody.
Yeah, that's fine. It's only your first one. I'm sure you. Loads when it's on the way. That's normally the case with live. You can't think when you're on live, but then you go off. So there'll always be a part 2 somewhere.
Hopefully so. I mean, I don't think I've done too badly. I wanted to basically ask you things that some of these other podcasts that you've been on haven't. I know they've covered from your early days.
Yeah.
But I wanted to dive more into like the pit side of it.
Yeah.
Which I think I've done, and that was where it all started for you, I think. And so my questioning would have been across to you on that side of things, to get your point of view across. If there was any people out there, I don't know, that are getting themselves in trouble and they wanted words of wisdom from somebody, how would you advise like the youngers to get involved in the bare knuckle scene?
I'd advise them just getting the gym in general because it's miles better for your mind, the body. Do you know what I mean? Better for your general, just general collision, just keeping fit, keeping yourself maintained. And then obviously, if you want to try the fighting, you've got to like it to want to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? You've got to like the videos, and I just say try it. Whether you, like I say earlier, win, lose, or draw, it don't matter. Just you've got to try it. You never know until you try. So, but like I said, you'll only ever do it unless you really want to. Otherwise, you won't do it anyways. You can't be told to do it. You can't be advised to do it. It's just something you really want to do yourself. And a lot of people, a very lot of people, want to do it, put the name down, get right up to the show, and this is from like 8 weeks to day before, even on fight day, pull out the fight because they don't want to do it, or the nerves kicking, or do you know what I mean? They've put this into something they don't really want to do, and it was just a temporary moment of wanting to do it. But yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a real lot. It's not just wanting to do it. Stick at it. So like I did. A lot of people don't stick at it and jump out at last minute for whatever reason. But yeah.
I suppose they're the ones that regret it afterwards, though, wouldn't they? I bet they sit back at home afterwards thinking, "Shit, I should have just gone forward and just stepped in that ring."
Yeah, definitely. But like I say, each to their own. You've got to really want to do it, and then a lot, like I say, you do get a lot of people that actually go for it for the first time, and you wouldn't expect it, and like it's just they must want to do it, and it's ace, it's good, it's very good fun. But like I say, win, lose or draw, it's still good, still fun.
Fun getting it. What does your family think about it? Are they all supportive of you?
Yeah, 100% now. I mean, when I first did it, they were a bit like, ooh, but I just did it. Do you know what I'm saying? I just did it, and yeah, 100% behind. It's all good.
Anything else you think I could cover maybe on this?
Ask me, but I don't know what you want to ask me.
I'm stuck now. This is the part where it gets awkward for me.
BKB,
That's why I was hoping Ronan would come on and co-host, and then I could have done like to this far, and then Ronan could have put his questions in the process. But unfortunately, he's stuck in Belfast for a couple of hours. But
yeah, I had a good podcast. I had a good interview with Ronan. Shout out Ronan, anyway, good lad. But yeah, just all you have to do is think of what you want to ask me next time, and then we'll have a part 2 whenever you want. So I'm always happy to come
definitely. Well, thanks ever so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to do my first interview with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's such a good subject. I'm sure people out there want to listen to.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, if you ever need to know anything or want to share anything or do anything, just hit me up and I'll give you any information you need. And thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure for your first one.
Tony, thank you, mate.
Thank you very much.